Welcome! If you're watching this video, then it means you're almost done with your essay. So great job. You can do it. And I'm going to show you how to remix your thesis statement. Now, if you've already looked over kind of my outline for the conclusion, I suggest that you start your conclusion by remixing your thesis. Now, your thesis statement was the statement, the last thing you said in your introduction that really gave your point of view on Odysseus while acknowledging concession and also giving some reasons. So this is what my thesis statement looked like. It had the concession, even though many people think heroes are defined by the lives they save and the feats they accomplish, like superheroes. Then it had the point of view. Odysseus's determination makes him a hero because, and then it had reasons. He never gives up on himself, perseveres in the face of insurmountable odds, and inspires readers to achieve their goals. Now, to remix your thesis, I don't want you to take your exact thesis statement and plop it down in your conclusion. But I do want you to kind of take the same ideas. So there's this concept of coming full circle or ending where you began, and it makes whatever you've created, and really any type of art, it makes it feel finished, concluded. So you started your essay with your thesis, and if you end it with your thesis, not the exact same words, but very similar, it makes your essay feel complete, like you've concluded a thought. So how do you remix your thesis? The first thing you can do is play with the order and structure of your sentence. So our original thesis, I suggested you start with a concession, you give your point of view, you give your reasons, okay? So you can just kind of mix it up and play around with it. You can start with your point of view, then concession, then reasons. Start with reasons, start with concession, or start with reasons, then concession, then point of view. So you just like mix it around and think about it. Now, what I did was wrote mine on strips of paper and physically move them around. You could do that. You could also just take a Word doc, take your thesis, copy and paste, pull out the parts, just kind of like look at the order and think about, how does it sound like this? How does it sound like that? Play with your sentence, take it apart, move it around. So for example, my original thesis I read to you, started with the concession, then the point of view, then the reasons. I could also say, Odysseus' determination makes him a hero because, even though many people think heroes are defined by the lives they save and the feats they accomplish, he never gives up on himself, perseveres in the face of insurmountable odds, and inspires readers to achieve their goals. This is still a complete sentence. I would want to do some editing to change a couple of things, but it's still a sentence. And I kind of like doing it this way because I'm starting my conclusion with my point of view. Odysseus' determination makes him a hero. Then I put the concession in the middle, but then I end with my reason. So it's like, whoosh, Odysseus is a hero, like a real strong Odysseus is a hero sandwich. Also, I could start with my reasons. He never gives up on himself, perseveres in the face of insurmountable odds, and inspires readers to achieve their goals. Even though many people think heroes are defined by the lives they save and the feats they accomplish, Odysseus' determination makes him a hero. Because. Now, you wouldn't end a sentence with because, so I would have to edit that out. But that's easy. That was clear. All right, so point of view, reasons, concession. I could also do it this way. Odysseus' determination makes him a hero because he never gives up on himself, perseveres, even though it still works. I got sick of reading it. There's a lot to say. All right, so the first step of remixing your thesis is just play with the order of the parts, okay? So move it around, try different things. I ended up liking my order this way the best, where I start with the reasons, I give the concession, but then I put my point of view, okay? So I picked this order. I changed it up, but I thought it flowed nicely this way. The next thing I need to do is read over and add necessary words. Are there any things I need to change? So I wouldn't want to start my sentence with he. I should start it with Odysseus, okay? So I crossed out he and I put Odysseus. And then since I used Odysseus right here, I changed Odysseus down here to his, and then I'm going to have to take out that because. So I played with the order, then I was like, okay, what words do I need to change? Now I want to take out some unnecessary words. Reading my thesis so many times has made me realize it was pretty long, okay? I could be like, ooh, yeah, that didn't sound so great. I want to go back and edit my original thesis. Or I could just be like, okay, well, when I'm going to remix it, I'm going to make it shorter. So I just felt like I don't need to give all of these reasons that I gave up in my intro. So I took out these reasons. I'm just going to say Odysseus never gives up on himself and inspires readers to achieve their goals. I'm going to cut that part out. I'm going to cut out this part about superheroes. The reason I had this part about superheroes was to connect it to my hook, my Chadwick Boseman quote. So I'm going to cut that part out. All right. So I'm taking out some unnecessary words. And I'm going to read it again to make sure it still sounds good. Odysseus never gives up on himself and inspires readers to achieve their goals. Even though many people think heroes are defined by the lives they save and the feats they accomplish, his determination makes him a hero. And I got to get rid of that because. All right. So now that I have switched up the order and I've taken out unnecessary words, I still don't want this to sound like I'm saying the exact same thing as before. So I'm just going to change some of the words using a thesaurus or the right click trick. Because remember, in Google Docs, if you right click a word, it'll give you you can go to define, and then it'll give you synonyms if it's a word that has synonyms. So I looked at some of these words. Instead of inspires, I'm going to do motivates. Instead of feats they accomplish, I'm just going to say accomplishments. Instead of determination, I can say perseverance. So I just picked a couple words to change up. Here's a closer view of that. Just some of the edits that I made. And it's going to have the same meaning. It's going to have the same point of view. It's just going to say it in a slightly different way so the reader doesn't feel like you exactly just said that. All right, so once again, our steps. Play with the order of the parts, read over it and add necessary words, take out unnecessary words, change up some of your words with the thesaurus or right click trick. All right, and then the last thing you're going to do is once you've done all those things, read over it again and think about what are some changes I can make. Specifically, you want to make sure that you're being clear and that you're being concise. So to be concise means to say the most using the least. That's something I struggle with when I write. I say the most, doing the most. And so when I go back and edit, I'm like, oh, you just used 4 words to do what 1 word could do. So when I edit, and you might notice when I give you feedback, a lot of it is I'm like, instead of saying this long thing, say this little thing. So think about, am I using too many words to say something that I could say more quickly? And if you can't think of anything, just ask a friend, ask me, ask someone to read it. Hey, what changes would you make? Another thing, and people hate doing this, but it's such a good move. Read it out loud. Like I read mine out loud a bunch of times. And any place you stumble or you just start to get tongue-tied, okay, yeah, you probably need to edit something. Okay. I said all that. Say the most, using the least. So this was my original thesis. I feel like I've read it 400 times, so I'm not going to read it again, but there was my original thesis. This is a beautiful picture of Black Panther being the hang in there cat. That was copyrighted by me. Can't take it. All right, so then this is my remix. So this is what you saw, and then this is after I made a couple more edits. So I said, Odysseus never gives up on himself and motivates readers to attain their goals. Then I put a period, and I'll explain that in a minute. Although some believe heroes are defined by saving lives and accomplishing miracles, Odysseus' perseverance makes him legendary. So this is where I started. This is still in my essay, and then this is how I'm going to conclude. Very same idea, said slightly more differently, definitely more concise. All right. So when I went back and read it a couple of times, I was like, okay, changing up the order, the sentence still works, but I really think I'm just going to break it into two sentences, so that I just felt like it sounded better in two sentences. If you're ever like, whoa, this feels like it's going on too long, just think about if you can put a period there. So Odysseus never gives up on himself and motivates readers to attain their goals. Now that I'm reading this again for the gazillionth time, I feel like I kind of should put a comma. Odysseus never gives up on himself, comma, and he motivates readers to attain their goals. I feel like that would sound better, so I'll probably make that change when I type it up. I feel like that's a strong statement. Let's just say that. And then I'll add the next part. Although some believe heroes are defined by saving lives and accomplishing miracles, Odysseus' perseverance makes him legendary. See what I did there? In the hero's journey, they start with their origin, they go through all these steps, and they end as a legend. And so it's like now that I'm finishing my essay, Odysseus is no longer just a hero, he's a legend. All right, so I think that is it. All of my tips on how to make remix your thesis, and I will do something to share all these videos with you. This was some of my process, moving around, moving stuff. Look at this cool thing I did. It's really great quality. All right, that's it for this video.